And Devin McCourty joins us this morning on the Harbor One Hotline. Hey, Dev. He should be joining us on the Harbor One Hotline. Devin, you there?
Jackson? Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. What's going on? What's up?
No, nothing much, man. Is the excitement in the room today? Is it like this team played better than we thought? Like, what's the energy in there today?
Well, that's been my energy, and you know that Wiggy and Scheim and sometimes Courtney are noted Mac Jones haters. So I could not wait to hear from you. This team against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is a really good football team, played, in my opinion, really well, minus that first quarter. Defense played well all game, and I'm glad to hear that it sounds like you feel the same way.
Yeah, I thought, I think the hard thing is you don't want to overlook, first quarter, 10 minutes of the game. But the truth is they outplayed the Eagles, except for they spotted them the points off the turnovers, which really killed them in the game because for the rest of the game, it was a couple of field goals that the Eagles got, but they really outplayed them.
And listen, I agree with you and I agree with Greg on that. But, in this game, when you look at it and you hold a team like the Philadelphia Eagles to 25 points, those are games that you have to offensively win. And that's where I'm still concerned is that can they win games where they have to score over 24-25 against good football teams? And they haven't been able to prove that this year or last year on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, I would agree with that standpoint. But I think when you watch the game, the back and forth of once they got going offensively, I think you knew this first game was it's just not going to be perfect. They didn't get a ton of time out there. The offensive line guys were in and out. But I thought total overall look of the offense when they got moving and operated well, it was pretty good. It was times where it didn't look so good. I think one of the things they got to clean up is you don't want Matt getting hit the way he got hit. And I know Philly's defensive line is really good, but they're going to play some other defensive lines, like in week 3 against the Jets, when they play against the Cowboys, like watching Micah Parsons, those guys will kill Mac if he continues to get hit like that. But I think overall the flow of the offense, I think watching some of those guys out there make plays, the guy that I said before the season, Kendrick Bourne, had a big game, and I think he's going to continue to play like that. And I look to see Pop Douglas get the ball more in some of those catch-and-run situations in week 2 and going forward.
Devin, when it comes to Mac and his ability to go deep, we've been talking about it already this morning, but some people, like Wiggy, say that he just doesn't have the arm strength. My view of it is that he maybe just doesn't feel confident enough, so he'll make mistakes surrounding trying to throw a deep ball. Where do you fall on that?
I mean, this is the same argument they used to say about Brady, and then Brady goes to Tampa, and it's deep balls all over the place because to me they had, when he went to Tampa, they had more deep ball receivers. When you look at the Patriots team, they have a lot of guys who can do catch and run great intermediate routes. I mean, the touchdown that Kendrick Bourne caught on Darius Slay was a great move, catching out, but that's not a deep route. It was in the red area. It's a 15-yard route. I think a guy like Tyquan Thornton is a guy that can go vertical, but you don't really want to throw deep balls to 5'8" Pop Douglas. The other guys are not real burners, per se, to be throwing deep balls. So I think that's a part of it, too. You look at Jalen Hurts, he likes to throw the deep ball. Yeah, he's throwing to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, two guys who love to stretch the field and go vertical. So I think that's a part of it, too. I don't think the offense is really built around throwing a bunch of just deep routes down the sideline or deep posts. I think those will come into play, when they get in that kind of 25 to 30 yard area when they're trying to score. I think they'll take some shots there, but I don't think you're going to see this team just throw a ton of deep balls all year.
Yeah, I think when you look at this team, I think the biggest thing is, and we've kind of talked about it, is defensively. What I was impressed with defensively is what they were able to do to Jalen Hurts, especially up front, even in the back end for the most part. Yep. But up front, you were able to limit him and take away what he loves to do, which is kind of that RPO and be able to make plays with his legs.
Wiggy, I agree. I think you match the performance of the players on the field, and I thought what Steve and Gerard drew up as a defensive game plan, because I'm actually calling the Philadelphia game this Thursday on the radio. So I went back and I'm digging into the film, and Jalen Hurts never got comfortable. I thought early in the game they got in the red area. They went no backs, and New England sent the all-out blitz, and he gets sacked. And then I think for the rest of the game, they showed a little bit of that blitz. Sometimes they came, sometimes they didn't. They looked like they were in a ton of too high, and then they dropped into single high. So I think he struggled on some of those reads. That's why there wasn't many deep throws, because he wasn't sure what they were in, and they kept just mixing the coverage on them, different coverages. And then when they did have four-man rush, Keon White, Barmore, like those guys were killing dudes up front, taking them straight back to her. So I thought they had a great game plan, and I think that's going to be the difference Sunday. Like, I think everybody watches Miami, and they're like, oh, my goodness, the Patriots got to go try to stop this. Like, Tyreek Hill took, like, they're not going to go and do what the Chargers did. The Chargers went out there and played man-to-man against Tyreek Hill with zero help anywhere, and was like, hey, man, hey, corners, good luck. And it was 215 yards. Like, it was – I'm watching the game like, this is ridiculous. Like, you got this guy, you can't just leave out there and say, man, if he scores or he beats us, he beats us. He's going to beat you. He's going to beat you a lot.
Devin, the knock on Gonzalez was his physicality. I feel like he certainly showed that maybe is not an issue. Did you like what you saw?
Did I? I mean, the guys out there against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, two of the better receivers in the league, and, you know, we get to a fourth down, the team says, you know what, we're going to blitz him. We're going to make the ball come out. He's on the island. He's on the single receiver side. He goes out there and makes a play. He came up, he tackled when he had to. They got a stud. I think that kid, I think he's going to be a really good player for a long time for them. I thought he played really good ball for week one going against the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, coming off the Super Bowl. When you watch that Super Bowl, that offense was rolling. So, I thought he played really well, and, you know, I think everybody in that area should be excited to watch him, not just this year, but throughout the years for his time in New England.
Devin, where do you stand on the issues with the NFL and player injuries on artificial surfaces? Obviously, the Aaron Rodgers torn Achilles has brought this back to the forefront this morning. The NFL Players Association director said that the NFL needs to have natural grass. What are your feelings on that?
I mean, I agree. There's coaches out there that would love to have natural grass, because they're the guys losing these players. I know Aaron Rodgers' injury is a little in between because it's not non-contact, but it's also the thought of, if it is natural grass, there's a chance his foot slides instead of just staying put in the ground like that. But no, I think every player, I think probably 80%, 85 to 90% of coaches will love to see natural grass, because it's the best for the players. But like I always say, the NFL is not what's best for the players. It's a business. So this business allows you, and having that turf allows you to not just have NFL games on Sunday. It allows you to have some of the biggest concerts in the country. When you look at the concerts, when they're in the Boston area, they're at Gillette. When they're in New York area, they're at MetLife. You know, when they're in Houston, they're at the Texans. Like, all of these NFL fields just continue to host all these concerts. These artists go on tours. They just visit, and it's so easy for them. You set up the stage. It's on the turf. The turf gets beat down a little bit more, and it's just not the ideal surface. And we always come back to the same argument. When these soccer teams, these international soccer teams come in, they will not play on that turf. They come in, they pour a ton of sod and dirt and put grass over top of our field, because those soccer players are like, we will not play on this. And I think there's a reason for it. But so hopefully we see, but I don't think so.
How can these owners say that the players' health is of paramount importance, but they don't do the most simple thing that would ensure that?
Because the players' health is important as long as it fits the business model. I think like that, that is what the NFL is. Like, we're going to do whatever works for the business model. So the concussion things and different player safety, take away kickoffs, like, do all of those things, because that's great for the business model. We're helping players. We're going to get guardian caps in there. All of that is great. But then you bring up this one thing, and it's like, hey, man, if we just switch to grass, like, we have all of these statistics that say it's going to be great. Can we do it? They're like, that kind of hurts the profit margin. I'm not sure there. Like, let's see how we can work this out. So I don't know. Hopefully at some point, but I just don't see it happening.
See them landscaping bills?
Devin, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, the sad thing for me is that apparently one cannot manifest a Super Bowl win.
I mean, I think I was at the game too. It was crazy to be at the game because those fans were juiced. But you know how many networks right now are sick? They got the Jets on all these primetime games early in the season. He can't do anything.
Yeah. Do you think he comes back and plays another year?
I do. I don't think he wants to go out like that. I think all of the hype. I think it looked like he was having a great time in New York playing with that team. I just think he rehabs these quarterbacks. They get paid a lot of money. I think he pours a ton of his resources into not just getting a surgery, but like the best of the best treatment that you can possibly get. And I think he does kind of what most people would think is the impossible and comes back off a torn Achilles, 40 years old. And I do. I don't think he wants to go out, 3 or 4 plays into his time in New York, and that's just it.
So you look at Sunday night in Miami and the Tyreek Hill and the weapons they have. What from a defense side of the football, what do these guys need to do?
I think it's going to be similar to Philly. They got to keep everything in front of them. I think you saw in Philly, the corners were off a lot, giving Philly, if you want to throw the quick 5 or 6 yard, sit down, hitch route to the receivers, go ahead and do that. But we're not going to allow you to just throw deep passes. I think they have to always have an awareness where Tyreek Hill is. I think Tyreek Hill, the beauty about what he does is he's dangerous, or more dangerous, I should say, in certain parts of the field. So I think they need to know, hey, is this guy all the way outside at number 1? Is he at number 2? Is he at number 3? And when he's in those different, most dangerous spots, they need to find out a way to double team him and not just allow him to be on the left side of the field and run all the way to the right side of the field and have corners chasing him. Like, that's just too hard. And I think they'll do that. I think those guys will watch film. They'll have the coaching staff, but I think even the guys in the secondary will know, all right, this is how we need to play them. And I think they got to try to force them to run the ball and not just have all of these throws to Waddle, to Hill. Like, those guys are just really good football players. You want to try to limit the amount of times they have the ball in their hands. And I think the biggest thing is what Wiggy spoke about earlier. They got to score points. Like, the Chargers scored points. They went up and down the field, and I think New England has to do that. They have to go out there and score points. I got Kendrick Bourne on my fantasy team, so I wouldn't be mad if they start throwing at KB a little bit more, get him some more touchdowns. I'll be all for that.
Devin, you talked about how in the Eagles game they kind of baited the 2 high a lot and then shifted to a 1 high safety look. Tua is normally like one of the best quarterbacks in football against 1 high safeties. So do you expect the Patriots to kind of back off of that disguise a little bit and play a lot more 2 high in this game?
I do think they'll play more 2 high, and I think playing more 2 high is the look that you give the team to say, hey, we want you to run the ball and put some of that. They're going to put some of the pressure on those defensive linemen up front to stop the run without an extra safety in the box. But I do think there's still going to be a good amount of single high because that's what they do. That's what they practice. That's what the corners play. That's what they're like. That's who they are. But they're just not going to give it to Tua. They're not going to allow him to get under snap and say, all right, this is the route we had. This is a play. I know it's going to hit right here because I know what they're know. It's going to be a 2 high look, stay 2 high. It's going to be 2 high look, go to single high. It's going to be single high look, go to 2. Like, it's just, they're going to be moving a lot back there. And like I said back in March, I think one of the hardest things for offenses is going to be, it's going to be Marte Mapu out there. It's going to be Kyle Duggar. It's going to be Adrian Phillips. It's going to be Jabril Peppers. What position are they in? Who's blitzing? Like, it's going to be hard to know because they're going to all do different things. And I think Jalen Hurts found that out in week 1 with different guys just in different spots, that it's not easy to figure out what the actual coverage is.
Waterworks for you when you saw Tom Brady running onto that field one more time?
Nah, man, I was in the studio. I got goosebumps. They show him running out. I was like, man, I want to be there, Tom. Let's take the field. Let's play. And then, like, your body's starting to react because it's raining. So, like, the different body parts are a little achy because it's raining. Like, then, reality sets in, and I was very comfortable in that suit and that chair watching the game.
Yeah, you did a good job because I was listening to you guys. I think it was the Sunday night game when you were on there. One thing that stood out, and I texted the group about this, and you kind of said it a little bit earlier, but last year you were like, the Patriots cannot do what we did last year, is have games like this where the defense does such a great job and offensively we don't score enough points. So hopefully that message will be thrown around in that locker room a lot this year. When the defense comes up like they do, we as an offense need to score points.
New England, 35 points this week.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You got him winning this one, Devin?
I mean, I'm going to be on national TV. I got to pick a winner. It's Sunday Night Football. It's our game. So, of course, I got to pick my guys. And if they let me down, I'm going to start the season 0-3. It's going to be rough for my new job. They might fire me just off my picks.
Let me tell you something. As the coach of Brockton High, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
There we go.
You understand, brother? You got plenty of time.
Go, Whitney.
They got blown out. You see that score on Friday?
I didn't, but you didn't have to say it like that.
No,
Sheesh.
but we did. Hey, we got a young quarterback. He's going to take some lumps. He's only a freshman. I don't think he's going to have a piece of hair under his arm
And
yet.
Wiggy, Shine
Ball
mentioned
security.
the single high safety. Does Brockton play too high?
Well, I think we played a little too much, too high safeties.
Wiggy is Devin. Based on your experience with Wiggy, is he single high or double high most mornings?
That's a hard one. Wiggy's an offensive guy, so probably double because he thinks it's harder on the quarterback, force him to run, and those guys up front will eat the run up. But sometimes it just doesn't go like that.
I just
All
want
right.
him to throw.
Hey, before you go, quick plug. You and Courtney and I are going to be celebrity bartenders at an event for the American Cancer Society at the Capitol Grill on Boylston Street. What is the date of that, Courtney?
October 11th.
October 11th, correct, Devin?
Yes, October 11th. You started the plug and then had to ask Courtney the date. That
Well, yeah, I
wasn't.
got a lot going on. I'm very busy social calendar.
Senior moment.
I have a lot going on. But we are looking forward to bartending with you and raising some money. So I hope everybody will come out and see Devin.
We all have to wear pink.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good color for me, so I'm excited about it.
And we
Greg,
know
too.
Greg has a pink shirt.
I have a pink
He wears
shirt.
everything.
Courtney says I wear it too much.
Well, he wore it to my wedding, and
Yes.
it worked out for him.
right.
So Greg, you're kind of like Bill. You just have like the same shirt sitting in your locker, and you just wear the same things at the meetings all year long.
Pretty much.
Yes, that's the only way we're alike. Yes. All right, Devin McCourty, you're the best. We'll talk to you again next week. All right.
All right, have a good one, guys.
All right.